talk about Brooke Shields and Michael Jackson being big kids and children at heart, because even, at least in this case, Michael's child watched the same thing. And I myself, although I may not look like it, but I have a 9-year-old grandchild and a little girl, and she's sweet as can be, and she's protective of me too.
Let me just, I'm trying to figure all this out, and Ashley Banfield, we've been talking up until this point before the memorial service about the cause of death, the possible cause of death. The toxicology reports aren't in, but we've been hearing all these reports of people, whether it's Yuri Geller or Deepak Chopra, talking about Michael Jackson being out of it, how they begged him, Sherilyn Lee, the registered nurse, get help, we can't give you this, we can't give you that. And then, on the other hand, you see this child who seems to be so beautiful, so sophisticated, so well-balanced. In my head, those two things do not dovetail.
No.
What am I missing?
You know, I think we're all missing something. There's a great deal of secrecy with regard to how this man lived his life. And I think if we think back to the Anna Nicole Smith case, she also had children, and she also had a terrible addiction to prescription painkillers. And I'm going to disagree with one of your panelists who said that because he wasn't doing cocaine or some other kind of drug like that he wasn't using recreational drugs. Prescription medications, when abused, no matter what they're for, even if they're for sleeping, is considered recreational use. And God forbid there was someone actually administering Diprovan in that home, because Jane, your show is going to take on a whole new bent in the coming weeks.
But there's something to be said about that, though. When you talk about different drugs here, we're talking about motivation. I'm talking about motivation. Coming from South Central LA and being around a lot of drug addicts and serving for 10 years, at least 10 to 15 years on a panel in North Hollywood, buying help, which is a halfway house.
Well, let me just jump in for 1 second. I think what the point that Ashley's trying to make is that, yes, there is a difference between somebody who's using illegal drugs and involved in that whole world and somebody who's just hooked on something like anesthesia. I'd never heard of an anesthesia addiction until this story broke.
Yes. No,
It's also illegal let out, and that is just breaking the law, period. If you get controlled substances by furnishing a false name or a false address, or having other people procure it for you, or pay for those to dispense
No, I understand.
you're breaking the law, period. No matter what you're using.
But I'm not even talking about that, Jim Murray. What I'm talking about is, here we have this beautiful girl who seems so well-balanced, not acting out, terribly appropriate, heartfelt, and yet all we're hearing about Michael Jackson is how out of it he was. And to me, I don't know that you can be a great parent if you're that out of it, and I just don't, I can't put these two images together. Whoever wants to take it.
I mean, with respect to the anesthesia addiction, it sounds like, and we've listened to at least one doctor say that he would bring Jackson down at night, bring him up in the morning, but that he would function in the day. I don't know that this little girl was around that at all, or was even made aware of it. And in that respect, they can be separated. That doesn't mean it doesn't have a problem or didn't have a problem.
All right, Diane. Jane, you remember, because, well, Jim, you were there too during the 2005 criminal trial. There was testimony there by Neverland Valley Ranch workers who said there was so much alcohol consumed, he seemed so wobbly that they were worried to let the children around. Oh, yeah, the Jesus juice. So I find it was the Jesus juice and concealed in the soda can.
You know what, but there's something to be said about that. Bob Jones, who's now deceased, in his book, he said the only thing he could find against Michael, and he was what, his publicist for 30 or 40 years, was that he thought he saw some wine on a plane in a can. That was it. And as far as
Bob would also tell you that he didn't spend a lot of social time with Michael Jackson.
You know what? All you need to do, folks, is go to one Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and you'll meet a lot of people who function daily, including prosecutors, lawyers, possible very high-functioning addicts.
You could also take a look at people who are guards at Michael's house and also at Neverland and Encino, and find that they have sold so many stories to the tabloids. It's a shame.
It is hard to separate fact and fiction when it comes to Michael Jackson. Expert panel, please stay right there. Excellent insights. There are some serious legal battles looming for the Jackson family, but today they came together on stage to remember Michael. Here's Brother Jermaine with a heartfelt performance of Michael's very favorite song.
Though your heart is aching, smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you're
is Robin Meade on HLN. Morning Express, weekday morning, 6 a.m. Eastern on HLN. That's Sirius 133 and XM 123.
I'm Mario Bosquez from Martha Stewart Living Radio on Sirius XM, and I'd like you to join me as we celebrate 60 days of summer. There's something for everyone to discover. We'll teach you how to become the perfect grill master and make delicious and refreshing summer recipes. Learn to grow the perfect garden and keep a beautiful garden space in and outdoors. Find new and exciting projects to do with your kids, even ideas on how to have fun with your pets and keep them cool for the long term. Make this the best summer with 60 days of summer on Martha Stewart Living Radio on Sirius 1.
Look back at it, plow irrigation before. Sorry, John. Came up with a saddle, a telephone. Selection of saddles, colors, type designers, all at terrific prices, and even look absolutely fabulous. Participating for subdivision test. So check out glasses.com. I'm using it for a look your best right. If you want to feel like one of those guys way back then, turn his back on the wall. Readingglasses.com. A better way to buy reading glasses.
Arlington Peters, they fall, become away at night. Are you struggling with who to pay and who to put off? You're not alone. The consultants at National Debt Resolution never stress. Your bills can be unbearable, and they're here to help.